Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another edition of the Lifter Talk Show. Today, we have a title in form of a question. Is it worth returning to uni after 40 years? We have two women with young children who returned to uni, and obviously they have graduated. So we're going to be listening to their experience in their journey of returning to uni and what they have achieved after graduation. Thank you. You're welcome again, Dayo and Joy, to the Lifter Talk Show. It's nice to really have you here. And I want to say a big thank you for accepting to feature here. Number one, I would like to congratulate you on finishing your degree course.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's so good to women in their 40s, training, going back into returning into a different career and all of that. So we want you to tell us about that. We want you to talk about the different kinds of issues that you met on the way. But before we go on, I'll just like you to introduce yourself and the new degree that you just got. So Dayo, let's start from you.
Okay, so my name is Dayo Biro Akisoya. I've just completed a BSc course in mental health nursing.
Mental health nursing. Yeah. Congratulations.
Okay.
And Joy?
My name is Joy Benson, and I've just completed my degree in adult nursing this last July.
Okay, so we have someone in mental health nursing and we have the other person adult nursing. Okay, why did you choose to go into this particular career? Is nursing for both of you? And I'm wondering, why did you go into nursing? So who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Thank you.
I'd always known that I would want to go back to school to get a second degree with something more professional, because amongst my siblings, I did my first degree in business admin, and a lot of them, they did kind of like professional courses, doctors, pharmacists. So I knew at some point in time I would want to go back. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to do my master's or go back to, kind of like diversify to a different career. But along the line, I don't know, something kept nudging me to go into nursing. I wasn't really a nursing person because I've never done care, but I just had that passion to go back into nursing. And that's how my nursing started. But in terms of going into nursing, I was kind of like contemplating, should I do adult nursing like Joy, or should I go into mental health nursing? But I don't really like the sight of blood. So that kind of like drew me back a bit, like, do I really want to do nursing? But along the line, I knew with mental health nursing, I would not need to do a lot of the physical health activities. So that's why I chose mental health nursing.
Okay. And why did you go into adult nursing, Joy?
For me, it wasn't in regards to adult nursing. I think growing up, I've always wanted to work in the health service. As a young child, if you ask me, I will say, if you ask me as a young child, what do you want to be when you're older? I'll tell you I want to be a doctor. But along the line, it was not possible for me to do that as a first degree. My background was accounting. But it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I like taking care of people. I think that's one thing that nudged me towards doing that. And when I turned 40, I was like, oh my God, I need to do something with myself. I was doing a job that I was not happy with, and I didn't see myself developing in that area. So I decided to change. And another thing was that at the back of my mind, I was always going, you've always said you wanted to do nursing. You've always said you wanted to work in the health service. If you die today and God asked you, have you fulfilled your destiny? For me, it was like a destiny thing. So at the back of my mind, like, if I die now and God is asking you, do you think you fulfilled your destiny? So that thing just kept going in my heart. I was going, no, I don't think I have. And I think that was what made me, after I turned 40, I was like, no, I need to do something else. I need to do what I really enjoy, what I was passionate about. And that was why I went into nursing. For adult nursing, I think I didn't want to work with children because I couldn't just stand sick children. And mental health, I did a bit of care, and I've worked with people with mental health issues, and I felt I was too emotional working with them. So for me, adult nursing was the only other area I could find myself that I would be able to fulfill what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve. So that was why I chose adult nursing.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for those answers. Let me ask, how did you feel going back to school? How did you feel? It's one thing for when you see 20s going into uni, or 18, 17, it's like normal. But when you see 40 going into school, or 50 going into school, or 60 going into school, there's something about it. So I would like to ask, how did you feel returning to school at this age?
For me, at first, I kind of think that it was the finances. I was going, oh God, going back to uni. I had a permanent job and I was getting good amount of money. But at that point in time, I was like, oh God, how am I going to leave a permanent job and go back to school? Well, in my head, I was like, you're not happy here. And I remember there was a program we had, the women's program that we had, Tribe. And I remember one of the speakers coming and saying that if you have to be fulfilled in whatever career that you want to do, you have to be passionate about that career and you have to enjoy it. So for me, moving was me not enjoying what I was doing anymore. It was just like the same thing every day, nothing new, you're not learning anything. So for me, that was one of the reasons I decided to go back. And I just felt that going back, it's for me to do what I enjoy. It's for me to be fulfilled what I was doing. And that made it easy for me to go back. And another thing is that I wanted to develop myself. I just felt that I've gotten into a plateau where I was, and I just needed something else to push me up. So that was another reason why I decided to go back.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. Dayo, how did you feel going back to school at this time?
Oh my goodness. For me, I was a bit scared. I was anxious. I had mixed feelings because, like, Joy said as well, you have to think of finances, because if you're going back to full-time studies, you have to obviously go part-time. So with that, and I had children, 3 children, then my little one was about 3 years old. So I had mixed feelings, but I'm the sort of person that if I decide I want to do something, it might take me a while, but I will do it. With this nursing, I've decided I wanted to do nursing for quite a while, but I kept kind of like thinking, is it the right time? So when I knew it was the right time, I knew I just had to. I wanted to advance in my career. I was doing like a clinical administrator job. So it wasn't really what I wanted. And I wanted something that would give me that flexibility to take care of the kids as well, which is shift work. But then I was kind of like doing a 9 to 5 kind of role. So I wanted something more that would give me that flexibility, and I would enjoy it. It would be my passion, and also it would bring money to the table. So I knew at that point in time that irrespective of my fears or whatever, it is now time. So I had to wake up myself that, you know what, time to get up and time to do something. You're not getting younger. The earlier you do it, the better. So that was it for me. But I was a bit, it was mixed feeling. Should I go into it? Should I not? Should I just stay here? But if I stayed there, I wouldn't be where I am today. So.
Okay, thank you. How did you manage the children through the period? You said you have 3 children, and I'm sure you have your husband. How did you manage the 4 of them during the period?
With my husband, he's quite supportive, very, 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 very supportive. I must give that to him. But aside that, he's still a man. There are times where he would want to do things. He had to go to work. So for me, prior to going into uni, I had done my feasibility studies. I'd known that I would need childcare. Because with nursing, it's different from just going to do just a normal course. You have two schedule. You would do the academics and you would also have to do the placements. I found placements being really tough because you might be placed on a ward where you start your shift about 6:50 in the morning. So you need to have to take the kids to the childminder if your husband is not home. So what I did was, before I started, I looked for a good childminder. There's a friend of mine, she lives not too far from me. I'd already spoken to her that I'm going to school. I would be needing your help, so I had two options if the childminder isn't taking them. So I prepared myself. I didn't just wake up. With going back to school, being a matured student, it's not something that you just have to wake up and say, I'm going back to school this September. I think you need to do a lot of work. So I did a lot of work. I planned ahead. I'd make sure that, okay, if it's a weekend, this is where I'll take the kids if my husband is not home. So for me, because I pre-planned, I prepared myself, it didn't really come as a shock. It was quite tough because sometimes you would have to wake the kids up really early. With my 3-year-old then, when I was doing placements, and you have to drop them at the childminder about to 6 in the morning, because if you have to be on the ward for 6:50. So it was tough, but it's something that, I just kept up thinking of the future, that it's for the betterment, but it's something that's, I prepared myself. Even though I prepared myself, it still wasn't really easy because there are times that, whoever you've planned to drop the kids to, they might have their emergencies as well.
Yeah.
But you just have to make do whatever you can make do if you want to achieve whatever. Nothing good comes easy anyway.
Okay. So you prepared yourself, you had your childminder, and then there was also a friend who was part of the support system. Okay, thank you for that. Sister Joy, how did you manage the four of them through the period?
I kind of think that I had similar experience with Sister Dayo, because what I did was that I remember telling my husband when I decided to start this course, I went and I was like, that day we just came in, I was like, honey, I need your help. I've decided to do this nursing. And I remember my husband going, oh, you started another thing again. And I said, no, this time I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to finish this one. And like what Sister Dayo said, I've got my feasibility study. I think one of the reasons I was a bit skeptical and anxious was in regards to finances was, how am I going to pay for childcare? But what with the nursing program or with any university program, as a matured student and you have children, the government pays for childcare for you. Okay. So that made my life easy. I was like, okay, it's not as if I'm going to be struggling or getting extra money to pay for this childcare. So like Sister Dayo, I had a good childminder. My husband was there. And because of my husband's business, it was easier for us to be able to manage placements, because our placement will start like 7:30, and there are times I've started placement at 6:30 as well. So, but because my husband's business was easier for us to be able to manage, like when I'm on placement and I have those long days that I'm doing, he takes care of the children, as in getting them ready and getting them to school for me. So it has to be a partnership between you and your partner, because to be honest, you cannot do it on your own. You need a support system. You need friends. You need family members who will help. I've had times that I've had to drop my children with my cousins. I've had to drop my children with my friends. And just like Sister Dayo, there are times that your childminder might have her own emergencies and you have to look for alternative people to help you. So it's making that arrangement before you go in, doing your feasibility studies before you go in, getting all these people ready before you go in. I don't think it's something you should just jump into. You need to make, because the shock, like Sister Dayo said, even with all these plans, there are things that will still come and they will still throw throw you out of your arrangement. So you need to make sure that all these things are in place. But one thing I want everybody to know is that there's childcare finance for you. So if you're thinking that,
if you are going into nursing,
yes.
Let me just double check. Let me just cut in there. Not for everyone, though, because for childcare in terms of nursing, they would need to check the household income. So not everybody has, so not everybody has that luxury. Sometimes if you have to submit some documents, so is the household income they would use to determine childcare.
Okay. So, but at least that's there for some people. Okay. To take advantage of. Okay. Which is very good. Good to know. And what's the difference between then and now? I mean, what's the difference between when you started and now?
I think for me, I kind of think that my confidence has really, really grown in regards to speaking in the presence of people, because you have to do things like presentation whereby you're talking to your classmates and you're doing all that. So at the beginning of the course, I was somebody that will always just sit at the back or just allow other people to talk. But with the course, it has helped me to build my confidence in speaking, in presentation. We had a course that we had to do like an audio presentation. I've never ever done that before. So I had to ask my son to help me with the PowerPoint, audio PowerPoint. So it's not just you learning how to be a nurse or to care for people. It opens your horizon to other things. Not just your confidence in speaking. You just have this belief in yourself that, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But it's like it pushes you that, I can do this. If I can do this test, if I can do this module, it just helps you to build your confidence that there's nothing that you cannot achieve at the end of the day. So for me, I think that's one thing I've taken away from it is confidence in be able to speak, be able to achieve targets and meet deadlines at a short notice. So like today now we're talking about this doing the interview, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't, like so many things have happened, but in my head I was like, I can do this. I can get myself ready for 9 o'clock. Maybe before, like,
and here you are.
Can we change it? But because of you juggling so many things at the same time, multitasking, basically, just it will help you with that. It will help you in multitasking, because now you're looking after family, you're reading, you're taking care of yourself at the same time. Wow.
So for you, it has increased your confidence, it has increased your self-esteem, and it has increased your multitasking skill.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Dayo, what was the difference between then and now? How do you feel being what you are now?
I think mine is similar to what Joy has said, because obviously it will build your confidence. I used to be someone that I hated public speaking. I would literally do anything for. If you tell me to come and speak, I would hate it. But like she said, there are countless times where you would have to do presentations. You would have to, even now, you have to do word rounds. You have to do so many things. You have to do handovers. So it's built my confidence as well. Another thing I realized is helped me is it's kind of like built me into this matured person. I'm kind of more aware of being, I don't know, maybe matured. And also, because with my area of nursing, I do see a lot of things, and it's kind of increased my empathy for people. Okay. I kind of always try to, put myself in people's situation, because I just feel it's just changed me, because you just realize this life, anything can happen to anyone. You're just kind of like grateful to God, because you work in hospital environments, and you just see people that like you and I, and you're thinking, what's different? It's not that they don't know God, but you just kind of appreciate God more. You appreciate life more. You appreciate the little things of life. So it's kind of changed me totally. So
I think I agree with you, Sister Dayo, because I kind of think the first time I had a patient who was 55 years old, and he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And it just hit me like, I was like, oh my God, my husband is in this age group, you know? And it just shows you how much God has done for you. The little things we don't take for this breathing air, talking, eating by yourself, waking up and washing yourself and deciding which clothes you want to wear. Those are the kind of things that we take for granted. But when you come into nursing, you begin to appreciate those little things that we think, oh, they are minor. You begin to appreciate them, that God is faithful in your life. God, you have so many testimonies to thank God for. So, I agree with you. And it increases your empathy, because you begin to like, oh my God, I'm not better than this person. Some of the people you meet earn so much money. They are very rich. And you're looking at them that even with all their money, they can't take care. That money cannot give them that health. And you begin to just appreciate God more. For me, I think it just makes you appreciate God more.
What advice would you have for women? Thank you for that question. So which means that apart from the three advantages we spoke about, multitasking skills, increasing self-confidence, increasing self-esteem, it also increases your empathy and helps you to actually appreciate God, more. So we thank God for that. What advice would you have for women, really, who are either thinking of going to school? Some may even feel that it is very late for them returning to school. Some may be thinking of money. How do they finance their education? Yes, what would you say to them?
So for me, I would say nothing good comes easy. If it's your desire, if it's your passion to go back to school to get a degree or even get a course, for me, I don't see getting a degree as the ultimate advancement. For women, I would say at every point where you find yourself, life is like a staircase. So every step you land yourself in, always think of how you can better yourself and move to the next staircase. So it might be whatever area, if it's your career, you want to advance in your career, like we both said earlier on, do your feasibility study, plan ahead of time. Even in terms of finances, you can always know that, okay, I want to achieve this. I would save a bit and, so that during the farming period, you still have something to fall back on. And as a matured student, you have student finance in terms of maintenance loan, which is irrespective of your household income. You would always get that maintenance loan. That's the loan that is there for you. And also in areas of, if you're a woman that you're into business, you need to keep thinking, how do you advance in that business? I always feel no matter the situation you are in, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you should always be thinking of what courses can I do? It doesn't have to be a BSc course. Can I do childcare course while I'm taking care of my children? I'm also, advancing, doing childcare course and doing something. Do I love cooking? Am I a caterer? What course can you do to better your catering business? Are you a fashion designer? What course can you do into sewing so you can start doing your own ready to wear clothing? You just need to start thinking of, how do I move to the next staircase? How do I move to the next one? For women, I feel, for me personally, I think sometimes when you attain a certain level, it makes you feel better. It gives you that self-esteem. It also kind of gives you the respect, even from people, from your spouse. It's no man, no matter how rich the person is, would want you to just kind of sit down at home and not bring anything to the table, no matter how little. Just always think of, how can I add to my income? And we women, we know how to spend money. So if you're just doing your normal job and you're not looking for how to add little, I feel every woman, we should kind of think of, how do I add more to my income? You need to start thinking of how to add more, no matter what. I think one positive thing the COVID did for me as well is, even aside that I was going to nursing, I also started a small chops business where I took the opportunity of, I love baking, and I took the opportunity of doing something. It wasn't as if I really needed it, but I just thought, this is an extra income. So for women, we should always, we should always be thinking of how to advance in every area of our lives, career-wise, business-wise, whatever area you find yourself, there's always room for advancement. No certain position is too tight for you. You can always expand in that situation, either going back to school or doing something to expand in your business. That would be my advice.
Thank you very much. Star Joy, what advice do you have for women who are either, thinking this way?
Okay, I kind of think that one of the things that was holding me back, I was looking at my age and I was going, oh my God, I was over 40 and oh God, I'm going to be the oldest person in my class. So if you're thinking about, oh, how old you are, you're like, oh, because I've passed a certain age, I can't do this course, or I can't do this degree course, or do even a short online courses. I would tell you that's a lie. I remember going into our first day and there were women who were saying they were like 55 and I was like, oh my God. so don't look at, try not to look at the limitations around you. Try not to look at the things that will stop you. Try to counteract those things that will stop you. Okay, if this will stop me, okay, for example, if we're looking at childcare, we've said that for some people, there are finances for you to be able to get childcare. There are also loans that the government will give you that you don't even have to pay back as well. So like for adult nurses, you get about 5,000 to 7,000 every year from the government that you don't need to pay back. So that's another form of income for you. And you have your student loan and you have your maintenance loan as well. So if you look at it, finances will not be like a stopping block, because there's a way the government has done it that as much as you're going to school, you should be able to, maybe you will not have those luxury that you normally would have or buy when you were working, but you will have enough money for you to be able to, for me, at least for me to go through the 3 years. So that's one. At the end of the day, you know you've achieved something. You're proud of yourself. You're able to come out. I know when my husband calls me now and he goes, hello, doc. Thank you. Because you're pushing me to not just stay at nothing. It's for me to upgrade myself. So he calls me. So that's respect that people give you. I know it's just superficial, but it makes you feel good. It does make you feel good at the end. It does make you feel good. And including everything Sister Dayo has said, it's just for you to improve yourself. At the end of the day, you're the one doing this course and you're coming out of it and you're going, I've achieved this. And it's just so much joy when you finish that course and you drop that last pen and said, I've finished. So much joy will fill your heart when you finish. So for me, I think if you can push yourself, take away any obstacle that is coming, try and tell yourself that there are ways to beat those obstacles, and you will achieve it. You will achieve it.
Praise God. So it's really good for women to return to school, retrain, and even if they're in business, they can train up whatever they're doing. So it's good to invest in themselves, go back to school, find different ways of, and the society will respect them, the church will respect them, and even at home, the husband will respect them more. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all of this. I'm not sure if there's any other thing you want to add before we round up. Any other thing?
I think another thing again is to pray about it. For me, I remember my manager at the time I was leaving, she was going, that I thought you were ill because you just kept praying and you kept fasting, because she's a Christian, so she understood it. But at that point in time, that was always like, oh, I'm fasting. They were like, why are you fasting? So when I told her, and I told her that I had to pray about it and fast about it, and just for me to get that peace in my heart that I was taking the right direction. So as much as we're saying, oh, retrain, go back to school, you need to come to that place where you have prayed to God about it and you're picking the right course for yourself. We have gone into nursing because that's where our passion is. It could be anything else. You might decide to go back to become a lawyer. You can go back to decide to be a doctor. Anything you want to be, you can. But for me, I kind of think, pray about it. Follow your passion. Follow what you're passionate about. Just don't go, oh, because this person, oh, everybody's going into nursing, I'm going into nursing as well. It might not be
I really think this is very important, because when you are going to school or when you are returning to school at this age, you don't want to make any mistake. Because you don't want to make any mistake after 40, or you don't want to make mistake after 50 or after 60. So you must do the right thing. So it's best to pray and be sure that God is actually giving you that leading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's right.
So, but whichever way it is, wherever God is leading, is good to trim for wherever you are going to.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. Thank you for the encouragement you've given to women at this time. And I'm sure that a lot of people will hear you, they will listen to this, and they will try to invest in themselves and become more important in the society and in their community. Thank you very much. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having us.
So I say bye. See you again at some point. We are big women. Bye-bye.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
If this video has blessed you, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to my media channels. If there are any inquiries, direct them to lizsegun@gmail.com. Thank you.